This episode is brought to you in association with Timeform, your trusted source for racing data and analysis. By Total Performance Data, the world leader in thoroughbred performance technology. And by FitzDares. Hello, welcome to the show. It's day 3 of the Visit Qatar Goodwood Festival. Here we are live on the track at the moment. Glorious, not really, it's a bit grey, it's not that cold. Could get a load of rain today, might get none, who knows. Charlotte's with me today. Now Charlotte, you and I have just had some news because John Gosden has just called us. And he has passed on the news that Field of Gold, who was a disappointment in yesterday's stunning Sussex Stakes, won by the 150-1 pacemaker for him, Kirat. Field of Gold is lame this morning. On his near hind, his left hind leg, and they're going to get the vets in and do all the bits and pieces they need to do to try and find out more. But he said it is very obvious he is lame on his near hind. That's the news we've got to pass on, so keep our fingers crossed it's nothing too serious.
No, it's incredibly disappointing news that's come out of it. I guess he didn't give his running yesterday. Yes, he wasn't perfectly positioned, and we can talk through that. But actually, I think we were kind of expecting that even if it was a dirty scope, something was going to come out of that, because he just didn't look to be the Field of Gold that we've seen this year, the sort of superstar we were all hoping he was. And it was Kirat that picked up the pieces in quite an extraordinary way. I mean, talk about dramatics. That was a shock at 150-1.
I mean, John Gosden got everything right as regards the tactics for Kirat, because what he told Richard Kingscote to do has been executed to perfection.
Yeah, exactly. He thought that his instructions were going to help Field of Gold. In fact, they have helped Richard Kingscote, Kirat and Ralph Beckett, because he's gone out, he set even fractions, he's not gone too quick. But Ryan Moore has sat leading the group, and Serengeti's gone sort of flying past, and Richard's thought, well, you can let him do his own thing, not going to worry about him. And Ryan sat there leading the sort of pack. Richard's looking behind thinking, are they going to follow me? Ryan's almost said, no, I'm going to ride my own race, let's ignore those. Let's go steady, potentially to make Field of Gold keen. We know he can run a little bit keen. He was trapped on the inner, you've got Rosalian on the outside. Ryan was in the box seat, his horse was good enough. I think he would say that he rode the exact race he wanted to ride, but in the end he just wasn't good enough. Or what? Maybe he didn't give his full run either. I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, if Rosalian's the one, you kind of feel sorry for Richard Hannon, because you sort of feel Rosalian should have won, because he did flash all his brilliance, but just the pace of the race, the way it was dictated by Kingscote, foiled them all.
Yeah, it did, and hats off to Richard. But Rosalian, he just seems to run the same race every time. He flashes home late, just gets beat. He's a lovely horse to have. Potentially not a superstar, but he's a very good horse, but incredibly frustrating. And I don't know what kind of, the way he runs, you imagine what he really needs is a really fast run mile, but a sort of true gallop the whole way through. And I'm sure they'll be hoping that by the end of the year they can pick up a Group 1.
I think we need to ring Ralph Beckett, don't you? Let's do it. 150-1, biggest price, winner of a Group 1 in European racing history. There was a 300-1 shot in Australia. And I was minded, opening verse was second in the Eclipse behind Nash, won a pacemaker for Indian Skimmer and went on to win the Breeders' Cup Mile. Just keep that in your thoughts. I'm going to ring Ralph Beckett right now. Morning, Ralph. How are you doing?
Morning, Nick. Very well, thank you.
I hope you had a chance to sort of wake up with a start in the middle of the night and realise it wasn't actually all a dream.
Yes, I suppose in a way, absolutely, it was a bit like that, wasn't it, Nick? So, yeah, a great day.
Just reflecting on Kirat's success, you must have thought about it and tried to work out why it happened, how it happened, what sort of horse he actually is now. What do you think this morning?
Yeah, well, quite. I mean, it's a really difficult, really difficult to tell now what we do. We're going to have to give that a bit of thought, because his form on straight track, obviously, was very good at Ascot when he was second in the Victoria Cup. He can do it. We just got to work out where we go to from here. But he'll have all the entries, and we'll pick and choose.
Do you think? I said this to somebody last night that if he'd been trained in any other country, or if he was running under any other system, he'd probably have been in stakes races his whole life, wouldn't he? It's just we've got all these handicaps, and if you get a mark of 90 odd, you think, well, hang on a minute, I've got a stone and a half, I better go and use it.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And obviously, he thrived in big fields, So we stuck to it that way. We did run him in a Lister race at the back end last year. He was second in I think they call it the Robin Hood now at Nottingham. But that was at the end of a long year, and he only ran in that because he got balloted out of the Balmoral. Which we were at the time we were absolutely flattened by, because he'd have gone very close. The horse who finished behind him of Mike Bell's won it. So he'd have gone very close there that day, and because he likes a bit of juice in the ground as well. So anyway, there we go. It's all history now.
And you did fancy him. You did fancy him to run well. Clearly, no one was foreseeing what was going to happen. He was 151, for goodness sake. But you thought he'd acquit himself better than that. What was making you think that?
Well, when we discussed what way we were going to ride him beforehand, John and William were keen for us to go sort of even 12-second furlongs, and once that was the plan, then I was more optimistic, really, and Richard, carried it out. Somebody sent me the sectionals last night, and I think he went 12, 11, or whatever way it worked out. But and I think also, the Ballydoyle pacemaker coming by us helped as well, because Richard could then ride it at his own pace. But it was great.
It was a perfect storm, really, wasn't it? And of course, the beauty of it is, with this beautifully bred but now gelded horse who's won a Group 1, you can just get the long handle out and keep swinging, can't you? Where do you aim for next?
Well, I quite fancy the Breeders' Cup Mile.
I bet you do.
And I suppose, you could go to Hong Kong with him and all those sort of things as well. He's very straightforward. To become a very straightforward horse, very much like his sister in that, he was slightly complicated at 3, and now he's looking very uncomplicated. And I think that's probably relevant. That's the way they're made.
And you mentioned the sister Blue Stocking, and all through her 3-year-old career, everyone was saying, "Oh, does she try very hard?" And then, of course, she's ended up her career about the toughest horse in training, with everyone throwing the garlands at her. Is it that these emulous horses take a bit of time to mature mentally, do you think?
I think that's a lot to do with it. We trained 2 of the Desirous and Pomelo out of the mare as well, and they never really fulfilled their potential. And it's probably because we didn't have a crack at them at 4. That is exactly what it is.
And are there more? There's some more coming up behind, or is she?
Yeah, there's a Kingman 2-year-old who's just arrived into us. A very different type again. She's quite an immature looking filly. Very. She's an exceptional model, but just very immature at the moment. So there you go. That's probably. Well, we'll take our time.
And was there a moment after you dead heated with your own 2 horses? Again, another crazy thing in the Group 3 that you thought, my luck, I might have used my luck today.
Well, yes, but I was sort of kicking. I've been kicking any cat that came near me for the last month, because we felt nothing was going our way, and Kinross getting kicked at the start being a good example. So
is he okay?
Yeah, he's absolutely. He's one out. He's a little stiff, but he'll be ridden, if not Saturday, Monday, and he'll be fine. So
sounds like they did the right thing taking him out.
I couldn't agree more. You couldn't have. I'd have been livid if they had run him. But, so it was absolutely the right decision.
And the 2 dead heaters, would they take a similar path now, or will they have a sort of slightly different conclusion to their careers, do you think?
I haven't worked it out. I haven't really thought about it yet. Tabiti could go travelling, I think. I think that will fit her. And there's talk of she could end up in the States. That would fit her as well. We'll see. I haven't worked it out yet.
Okay, and as for today, you've got some lovely chances. Igoli's really progressive in the Richmond. Is he up to this yet, do you think?
Yeah, he might just lack him for experience. That would be my only concern. But he's a very straightforward horse, very well balanced horse. So we'll see. He's quite heavy-shouldered. I hope he copes with Goodwood and the speed they'll go today. We'll find that out. But he's progressive, obviously, and tough. He'll take plenty of racing, so that's good.
And I've just had a look at another weather forecast suggesting that you could get a fair chunk of rain before Sardinadan runs. How much would that help his chance?
Definitely. The more rain, the better for him. I mean, he handled quickish ground on the Curragh very well, but I think a drop will suit him. He worked very well on Saturday, so looking forward to running him. He's already gone round there and ran very well in the Cocked Hat when he was ridden positively that day. That suited him. He's looking forward to running him certainly.
And I'm told you're winning the nursery as well.
He's complicated, this fella. He's complicated, but he's talented, and it could set up well for him.
Okay, Rafe, thanks a lot. I know you've got a house full, and you've got another informed trainer staying with you. You've obviously been passing a bit of luck to each other. Yes. She said, Eve Johnson, she said she wasn't looking forward to coming to say when after Tuesday's results because she thought I'd be in a foul mood. But anyway, we had a team over here last night. Really good fun, yeah. Good stuff. Rafe, thanks a lot. See you later. All right, thanks to Rafe. How was it done then? Rafe's hinted at it there, and we spoke about it at the beginning of the show. John Gosden effectively said to Richard Kingscote, go and set even 12s, which has increased even 12-second furlongs, which has increased Kirat's chance. And then Rafe was fairly confident. Exactly how well did Richard Kingscote execute those tactics? Here's Adam with more.
No matter how much data we have, we couldn't have told you that Kirat would win the Sussex Stakes at Goodwood at 150 to 1. If we had, there'd be some guys in this office going absolutely mental right now. But let's look at the data and try and tell you why it happened. We'll start with the winner. The early speed, 6.2 seconds to reach 30 miles an hour, ranked first of the 7. Well, you'd expect that. The other pacemaker, Serengeti, misses the brakes, so Kirat should be in front. But the key point is to look at the speed data in the latter part of the races. Firstly, the top speed, 40.6 miles an hour for Kirat. That ranked him 6th of 7. For those interested, Serengeti ranks 7th. Late speed, 39.3 miles an hour. That ranks 6th of 7 as well. Now, the run-out speed's interesting. That's 2 seconds after they cross the line. He's doing 38.7 miles an hour. That's ranked 2nd, but it's important to note that really by that stage, only Kirat and Rosalian are truly being ridden out. Everyone else has accepted their fate. When we look at the top speed data, the horses that finished 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th all had top speeds above 42 miles an hour. This wasn't a case of the pacemakers going really quickly and building a lead and getting away. This was a case of those in behind not reacting, and the sectional times help us to confirm that story. Serengeti, as we can see from the replay, misses the brakes. Slowest horse of the 7 runners in the opening furlong. That gives Wayne Lorden the choice to make, and he decides to come wide, rush his mount up to get to the front. He's the fastest horse in the 2nd, 3rd and 4th furlongs, gets to the front with Kirat, and at that stage there's a healthy gap back to the rest. But the key is as they come down into the straight, that 6th furlong, at that point, Richard Kingscote starts to take a break. So does Serengeti. Their furlongs rank 6th and 7th at that point. But those in behind just don't react quickly enough. The gap is too big. If we look at those closing furlongs, of course, Rosalian is far quicker. But the gap's already there. Richard Kingscote's taken a really clever pull because he's realised that the 90-odd rated Serengeti shouldn't be there. By taking that pull, his mount gets a breather in. He's got enough left for the finish. The data clearly shows that in that middle part of the race, the horses that have chased home the winner, simply their jockeys did not react when they should have done. It's one of those things that will happen. Will this result be reversed? Absolutely. There's no reason to think from this data that Kirat is suddenly this 125 plus rated Group 1 performer. But it was a brilliant ride by Richard Kingscote. Congratulations to him. And I hope that helps to explain one of the most remarkable races we've ever seen at Goodwood.
OK, that was Adam Mills from Total Performance Data. Thanks for their support this week. Charlotte, a word on Richard Kingscote, because he's off to Hong Kong after York, and he's got Time for Sandals tomorrow as well. It's turning into a great season.
Yeah, it is. It's funny how these things happen, isn't it? When somebody announces that actually they're not getting what they hope for in this country, and they announce their move to Hong Kong, similar to what Andrea Erzani did, and then he came across Van Dijk. Richard Kingscote has had a fabulous last couple of months after Royal Ascot, and yesterday it could even get better this week. But yeah, it was great for him. You know, he executed his instructions to perfection. Ryan chose not to follow him. He couldn't do anything about that. And then when Serengeti went past, he was just very sensible, rode his race and realised that, you know, his horse loves Goodwood, and he's just got to ride his race at that point, and he got it spot on. And yeah, I've known Richard for years, and he helped me massively when I was sort of riding. He would always give me a call and walk the track with me, and yeah, it's so nice to see him doing well.
Yeah, it is. Great ride, and as I said, time for sandals tomorrow. Here is Dan Barber with today's Timeform perspective.
Without wishing to turn this into an episode of Operation Ouch, Nick, although pain was probably quite high on the list of emotions felt by anybody who backed Resilient in yesterday's Sussex Stakes at glorious Goodwood, but body parts to the fore in Timeform's post-race analysis. Firstly, hands up, glibly, anyone who backed Kirat in a handicap at Royal Ascot when he was beaten out of sight. Secondly, eat your heart out, the likes of Bilsden Brook, Qualify, Cardem, horses who previously registered huge prize successes at Betfair SP in Group 1 races. Soul Power was the previous holder of that. He was 262, his Betfair SP, when he won the 2010 Nunthorpe Stakes. That was blown out of the water yesterday by the 270 Betfair SP of Kirat. And I suppose a couple of object lessons. Firstly, as Ralph Beckett mentioned to the stewards, blinkers can have a negative effect as much as they can have a positive one, and that was used as an explanation for Kirat's performance at Royal Ascot, but also a reminder, and one that's always necessary, of the importance of tactics and pace in deciding horse races. This sport would be a far less interesting place and landscape were the best horse to win every single group race. Thankfully, it doesn't happen like that. Not often is a tactical nuance as strong as it was in the Sussex Stakes, but we've seen it at Goodwood before, with Audience maybe last year, to some extent earlier in the week with Witness Stand. Things in theory should be more straightforward for Whirl on Thursday as she goes for the Nassau Stakes. She's clear top with a P with Timeform, but as Coolmore has shown already a couple of times this year, even that great operation can sometimes get it wrong when it comes to tactics.
All right, that was Dan Barber. What else happened yesterday? Well, Lady Iman I thought was good in the Molka, but first ever winner for Ger Lyons at Glorious Goodwood.
Yeah, well, you had him on the podcast last week,
Yes.
and he was saying, I think, did we work
Very
out?
chatty. He was very chatty yesterday.
He was. He had a lot to say. But was it did we decide it was his third runner ever at Goodwood? So we know he doesn't run many horses in this country, full stop. But she was impressive. I thought going into the race that the track, the trip, everything was tailor-made for her. She's a filly that just has so much speed, and she showed it yesterday. She travels so well.
She's quite powerful, isn't she?
Yeah, she is, and she's exciting going forward. And there seem to be multiple options on the table for her, but whether it's going to be a really fast 6
Nunthorpe, are they
or a
suggesting?
5, I think a Nunthorpe. It sounded like Ryan got off and sort of said, this is one for the Nunthorpe. I mean, at this rate, the Nunthorpe could be full of 2-year-olds.
I know, which is great. It makes it so much more interesting. But the problem is, if you have more than, say, 5 or 6 2-year-olds in the Nunthorpe, and 3 of them are fillies, how are you going to find enough jockeys who can do the weight? Holly Doyle can't ride them all.
You know, exactly. I kind of get a bit lost after Holly. I always just think, oh, that'll be first preference, and there's
8
plenty.
stone and 8-2, isn't it? The Colts and the fillies, something like that.
I mean,
yeah, it's very, very light.
Very light. There's not many people. I'm sure those people that can do it will be very much putting their hands up. But Aiden's horse that's Nunthorpe bound? Charles Darwin, is it, or the other one?
Yes, that's the one. Yes. Yes.
I'd love to see him in that race. I think he looked a sort of monster when we saw him. But the track, York doesn't suit all horses, but she's a really strong travelling filly, and if she went there, if Ryan Moore as well telling you that that's where you should be going, I think I'd listen to him.
Did you get a chance to chat to Ger yesterday?
I did.
Good.
And so yeah, should we have a listen?
Yeah, let's do that.
She's proper. They're wanting me to go to the Nunthorpe, so trainer will be overruled, I suppose. But I don't like taking on the other horses, but you've got to listen to the experts. I wouldn't know what a Nunthorpe was if it bit me in the arse. So I have to listen to him. I don't know. Listen. She has to be in one spot, but that's if that's what he says and that's what the owners want to do, that's what we'll do. But we'll get her home first. She's been pretty straightforward, guys. Like, I mean, I dropped the ball. When I say I dropped the ball, she was doing everything I was asking for, and it took a good horse to beat her over 6 the last day. And believe me, Aidan has a proper punch. And I genuinely, I've said this before, I genuinely don't think that man has been training better than he is this year. You know, his horses are stepping forward from race to race like I've never seen before, and that's no fluke. That's pure talent. You know, he's got some cracking 2-year-olds, and that Queen Mary winner that we beat, she's a proper racehorse, and to see the size of her and the scope of her and the temperament of her, you know. Now I'm walking into these day in and day out, and sometimes you can be taking it for granted how good we're doing just walking into these monsters, you know. So it's just nice to get it. I really feel for Colin today, because he's not a whip man. I thought the day you put numbers on the whip, not to open a new bag of worms, the day you did that, you ruined it. But that's not who he is, and it's a huge slap on the wrist for him, but he learned from it. But I really feel for him today.
All right, that was Ger Lyons. There was another pretty impressive 2-year-old performance yesterday, and people were sort of almost thinking, okay, she could go a similar sort of route. Spicy Marg in the Alice Keppel.
Yeah, I thought she did it really nicely. She was impressive at the line, and she made a huge impression on debut at Newmarket, and then maybe a little bit disappointing after that, and I think people had slightly forgotten about her, but she was very much on track yesterday, and Emma's a friend of the pod, so it's always nice to see her having winners.
Okay, here she is.
I love it here. Do you know, I was just saying, this is the place that I came to and decided I was going to get my first horse 11 years ago, and I had my greatest win so far here with Lady Beauthorpe. She's just run a stormer. I think we've worked out how she wants to be ridden. You know, it was me and Kieran last time, William Jarvis obviously with Lady Beauthorpe, Michael this time. I'm so thrilled, I can't tell you.
So I guess she made quite an impression on debut, didn't she?
Yeah, she did.
Really came out with a bang there, and then things maybe just didn't quite go right. But is that the fact that you put it down to now you know how to ride, and maybe it doesn't quite stay a stiff 6? And so how does that map out the rest of the year?
I am no expert on the programme, to be honest, so I will listen to people that know a lot more than me about it and take their advice, because, you know, Michael said we should run here. I'm like, if you say so, let's do it. To me, it was really important to get her head, you know, back in front, give her that confidence back. You know, that filly that it's now I'm forgetting what it was called, but the Coolmore filly that won the Queen Mary is clearly an amazing filly.
Yes.
And
True Love,
exactly. Awesome name as well. But Spicy Marg,
not
also
not
a very
good
good name.
Spicy Marg.
So, you know, we'll see where we get to, but I'm just thrilled. I'm absolutely over the moon, and she's such a lovely horse, and she's a decent size as well, so hopefully we can keep it going.
Yeah, she looks like there's plenty more to come. Emma, thanks so much, and enjoy this.
Thanks, Charlotte.
Emma Banks, the day yesterday was lovely. Beautiful weather, perfect conditions. It's not going to be like that today, and I've been chatting to Ed Arkle about what we can expect.
Yeah, I don't know. We've quickened it up a little bit from yesterday now. Good firm in places. What are we going to get? The forecasters say anywhere between 5 and 20 millimetres. Sort of starting late morning, showery rain. It will be with us on and off during the day. I can't quite see where it's coming from on the radar at the moment. There's nothing very obvious, but these thunderstorms bubble up and appear, and yeah.
So it could be nothing. It could be lots.
Yeah, helpful.
Yeah, I know. And how much of an impact do you think, say, a 5 millimetre shower would have on this ground? I mean, what's the residual moisture content?
Residual moisture is dropping quite quickly. We're now down to about high 28, low 29. I can't remember now. So it'll need a drink. As I say, it's drying quite quickly. 5 mil would be probably quite helpful. It might just make it a little bit loose on top, or just chip the top off. Yeah, we'll see what we get.
If you get nothing at all, or nothing really registerable, do you end up having to water again tonight?
I haven't watered at all yet. So,
no, I know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I just want to say again.
I know, but when I said again, I meant as in you water before the meeting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think we probably do. Yeah,
okay.
We certainly have to put some on the bends, stop them getting too quick, and then we'll see what it's like. I think it's, well, as I said, I've called it good firm in places. I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't flick round during racing if we don't get any rain.
Ed Arkle there. Well, it's been a humbling couple of days for the Wathnan team after a spectacular barnstorming Royal Ascot. But when I caught up with him just down the road last night, Wathnan's Richard Brown was in relatively upbeat mood, or at least philosophical mood.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's sport, and as you say, Ascot was fantastic, and you can't expect to go to every race meeting and come away with a bundle of winners, so of course that's what we'd like to do. That's not the reality of any sport or horse racing. Yeah, we've had some high spots and we've had some low spots, a couple of things haven't gone right, but that's the way it goes, and it's we're only on day 2, 3 days left, we've still got a chance.
Who's pleased you the most out of the horses you've run so far?
I think probably the horses in the handicap in the last. I thought they probably all ran very well. They finished 3rd, 4th and 5th, and it would have been better if it was 1st, 2nd and 3rd, but I thought that was a good result. I thought fine interview with Fowler riding. I thought he gave a brilliant ride.
He's having a good little run, isn't
he? He rides brilliantly. He really does, and Hamid and his team train brilliantly, and so that was great to watch. That gave us a big cheer. So those 3 at the end, I thought they all ran very well.
Okay, so on to day 3, and straight away you've got a pretty good chance of most things being the first.
Yeah, I thought that probably coming into it, our big chances was Elena today. She was disappointing, and this horse Best Secret. He was unlucky at Ascot, and I think he is potentially a stakes horse masquerading in a handicap.
Okay.
James Doyle got off him, was very impressed at Ascot, and I think he's got a big chance. I've just seen Stefan Wathnan just arrived and reports him to be in good form, so hopefully we can get the day off with a winner. He's our best chance.
You've got an outsider in the Richmond underwriter. Archie Watson's clearly always held the horse in very high regard. We've seen more than our fair share of shocks this week. Could this be another one?
Yeah, it could be. It's nothing wrong. I mean, he went away the first time out. He was very impressive. He then fluffed his lines completely at Ascot. It just didn't happen. That can happen with 2-year-olds, as we know, and at Ascot. Went back up to air and was very impressive again. I think we'll probably let him roll on tomorrow. And as we've seen, being up on pace, the meeting so far has worked out well. So he's a big price, but I can see him running a good race.
Elsewhere, who would be your best chance, do you think?
I think Hamid Al Jahani's Filly Quiescent run a nice debut race again under Fowler at Newmarket, probably finishing second to a very decent Cheveley Park filly. I can see her running well, and I think Wicked has a fair chance in the Mark handicap as well.
Excellent, Richard. Thanks so much. And enjoy day 3, and fingers crossed for a Wathnan winner or two. Richard Brown there with hopes for day 3 for the Wathnan team. It's not just Goodwood this week, it's Galway as well. We've been there every day, courtesy of Jane Mangan.
Greetings from day 4 of the Galway Festival, and this is where the stamina starts to kick in. This is where you start to come off the bridle, but you don't really admit it. Yesterday we had a pulsating renewal of the Tote Galway plate, €270,000, and it's going to Gordon Elliott again. His 5th win in the race, a 2nd for the rider Danny Gilligan. Western Fold, the 6-year-old, came home in front to beat and break the heart of Jesse Evans once again. Jesse Evans is worth mentioning, 2nd in 2 Galway hurdles, 4th in a Galway hurdle, and now 2nd under a lovely ride from amateur Dara McGill to finish 2nd in the plate. The favourite down memory lane, well, it was speculative whether he would stay yesterday, but after 2 mistakes, his effort petered out fairly tamely, and he was no shape with 2 to jump. But we look forward, we look to today, and while many in the ring at Galway will be cheering on Sir Sene in the Nassau Cross at Goodwood, of course our concentration will be on the 4:30. The Guinness Galway hurdle, again, a cool 270 grand to the winner. Willie Mullins has a strong hand. He's got 5 in the race. He's won the race 6 times. He's also interestingly employed the services of British champion, or former champion, Harry Cobden for Toonsavator, the Royal Bond winner. But Paul Townend has picked Jalila Moriviere, the 2nd string of JP McManus, because of course JP is responsible for the favourite. The Fred Winter winner of last March, he won off a mark of 130 at Cheltenham. Let's be honest, he bolted up. He comes back here as a 4-year-old off a mark of 141, trying to emulate what Nürburgring did last year and become the 3rd consecutive juvenile to win the race. Of course, Zarak the Brave being the other 4-year-old when he won it for Mullins 2 years ago. There has been a slowing down in the ground. There was 3 mils of rain overnight. It's currently good on the National Hunt track, soft on the flat. The irony of that, of course, is basically the same track. But there has been rain here this morning. I'm just, say, 10 minutes from the track. They're probably getting it there as well. So if you're worried about ground, it definitely will be slowing down here at Ballybrit, as will some of the people.
All right, Jane Mangan there reporting from Galway. Charlotte's with me. Charlotte, we don't quite know what the weather's going to do, and it's going to have an impact probably on the Nassau Stakes, but I suppose we've got to suspend that for a moment and just try and work out who's going to win.
Yeah, me predicting a winner is probably, I've got more chance than predicting the weather. But I do think, well, I love everything about her. She's such a straightforward filly. She's so tough. I love what she's done this year, but I do think she's up against it today. See the Fire she's incredibly talented, and I spoke to Andrew Balding last week, and he said actually, Oisin came in at Ascot when she finished 4.5 lengths behind Ombudsman, and said if we'd have been ridden her a bit colder, I think we'd have finished closer. And with that form on the table, I think she's going to be very hard to beat. So I would be expecting her to come home in front, but no doubt we'll give her running. And Bedtime Story, I don't think we've seen the best of her. She's a tricky filly. They've been teaching her to settle. She was up to a mile and a quarter last time. That was her sort of best run since Ascot as a 2-year-old. So I do think I wouldn't expect her to be totally out of it, but I just don't think she's quite shown the form that the other two have.
All right, it's cold. It's actually got cold here now at Goodwood. It wasn't that cold when we started this podcast. Neil Phillips is going to warm us up with something. What have you got for us, Neil?
Well, what I've got here is Ridgeview. So they're based in Ditchling, so about an hour away from the course.
That's David Yates' hometown. He's a member of the Ditchling Wine Society, well, so I'd imagine he's tasting this all the time.
No, we must see. We should have got on as well, actually.
Yeah.
It's the Roberts family. They've been going since 1995. There you go, Charlotte. Don't get you going there. So they've been going since 1995. We actually had Tamara Roberts up here on Tuesday, who is the CEO of Ridgeview, and also brother Simon's the winemaker there. And this is their Bloomsbury, so it's Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Meunier, quite a lot of mousse on this wine. And this is their house style, very light. You can have a taste, Charlotte. Don't wait for us.
Go
for it.
I need to warm up.
Go, come on, you need to warm up.
We've had this conversation before, but I know that Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Meunier, that's Verve, isn't it? Same deal.
Same deal here. What we're going to do. But a very light style. So that's one of the things about here. I think it's great for Goodwood as well, is this light style here. Nick's going in, folks. Going right in, and Charlotte's very happy.
It's a nice way to start.
I like that.
Yeah.
Always before 11 o'clock champagne. That's the rule, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Before 11, that's when it tastes best.
So we've got some nice local English sparkling to have, and it's great. Before 11 o'clock, super fresh, good acidity, light style, great for Goodwood and great for punters, because a lot of people just want to come and have this light style, this Bloomsbury.
You see, sometimes if you've been enjoying the evening, for example, and you get up and do the podcast the next morning, and you think, well, really, I really want to have a glass now, but actually after the first couple of sips, absolutely right as rain.
I'll tell you what, I had some cold toast about 20 minutes ago, and that's working really well after that, I'll tell you. But it's a really nice style, isn't it?
I like it very much.
And I'd say one thing about them as well, and I'm sure Dave's been there, is actually go and visit Ridgeview. And a lot of thing now is about the wine tourism element as well. They've got the whole restaurant set up. I went there a few months ago as well. You're heading north out of Brighton. Good location, great food, good restaurant too.
Excellent.
Now, Nick,
yes.
You love Chardonnay.
I do.
So what we're going to do is we've got a nice Blanc de Blanc for you as well, and you, Charlotte. So we've got the Fitzrovia Rosé, which they've got selling here as well. And obviously the rosé is very popular. That is a very light style. But here we have this 2019 Blanc de Blanc, it's 100% Chardonnay. This is a single vineyard wine for Ridgeview. And this is a bit more complex. I'd be interested, you're a big Chardonnay fan, but be interested to see what you think on this.
So this is Blanc de Blanc?
Yeah, 2019 vintage. Small production. Bloomsbury's the house style. This is actually just showing you what else we can do here. About 70% of our production is sparkling, by the way.
Well, I always think Blanc de Blanc is a good sort of aperitif, and the Pinot Noir Chardonnay, the Pinot Noir champagnes are more are better with food.
Yeah, agreed.
I think this is more of a drinky drink.
Yeah, it is completely. And the Pinot
Does
Noir,
that make any sense?
That does make sense, because Pinot Noir just gives you the structure. It gives you the structure in the blend. It gives you that weight. I mean, the one thing here, if you had some seafood, I don't know, you had some oysters or something like that as well, a seafood platter or something.
If you could knock that up, that would be great.
Coming in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Here we go. We'll all be going like. Now
it's nice, light.
Well made, really well made,
yeah.
and really well made. And also, if you think about the length of finish, as well,
always important.
Exactly, Nick. But the 29, there's lots of length to finish there. Got the acidity, you got the freshness. Charlotte, what do you think?
I think it's very nice. I can't believe we've waited till, I don't even know what day we are. We're Thursday. Can't believe we waited till Thursday to tuck into it.
Oh, it's a bit later than normal.
Neil, thank you very much.
No, it's a pleasure, Nick. Thanks, Charlotte.
Cheers. And
cheers, everybody.
We will see you again tomorrow. Charlotte, tip for today?
Tip for today, I am tipping Aylin, which is Carl Burke's runner in the maiden. I think favourite around 7-2 at the moment, but second at York, first time out, and yeah, I expect it to come on.
Right, we need to get in the warm. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much to everyone who's joined us today. Thank you to John Gosden for his update on Field of Gold. We will be back to do it again tomorrow.
You've been listening to Nick Luck Daily. This episode has been brought to you in association with Timeform, your trusted source for racing data and analysis, by Total Performance Data, the world leader in thoroughbred performance technology, and by FitzDares.